That a boy. Looky here. There's our old 080. You got mine? Let's go. Back into the truck. Alrighty folks, today's video is help brought by Nomad Mobile Internet. Let's test it out. If you guys are like me, most of your job sites don't have very good cell signal. But this is a mobile internet service that apparently is gonna work even where your phone does not. Comes with a nice brick, power pack, which you can also charge your phone with. And all you gotta do, plug in the router. Power button on the side of this bad boy, where'd it go? Boom, 79%. Fires off your router. Now we're gonna test to see if the internet works. Not only does it come with a pretty nice carrying case to keep it protected, but like I said, it's got a power pack, so the thing is completely independent for itself. It doesn't need to be hooked up to your car, so you can take it camping, backpacking, or to work. We just gotta, oh, the light's turning. Once that thing turns green, we got power, we got internet. Let's check it. Where I'm at the house here, especially down here at the shop, we got no service. Down there at the pond where it just was, no service. But we were picking up enough usable service to watch YouTube videos, and I'm pretty happy about that. We'll test it a little bit more out in the field where we have absolutely no cell signal and see if it works. But there will be a link in the description for a little kit, early tests. I'm liking it. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I need to do a little bit of hauling this morning. I know, on Thanksgiving. Gonna take my boy up to Grandpa's house. We're on a project right now, and we got quite a few of the machines. Got the new 080, the little excavator. I brought the wheel tracker home last night because I need it for a project at the house since we're gonna be on holiday. And the skid steer's there. Mechlek, we were gonna take it, but we didn't actually need it on the job. And good thing we didn't. Good thing I brought that back, because the project I was gonna use this thing for this weekend, I'm gonna haul it to Haas's house right now, because he needs to mill up some deck boards, possibly, and definitely some 8x8s for a container project. So this is one of the perks of having your own tow rig setup. Financially, it's there's quite a bit. Realistically, I'm going to go into numbers a little bit in today's video. I started a video like this a while back, then it just went to crap because the machine broke down that I was hauling to the job, so I ended up hauling it back. So that would have been it would have been relevant for this kind of video, you know, the perks of having your own tow rig setup. And we're going to also talk about why Haas's truck, his 22 4500, the red cab chassis, regular cab, it's got a flatbed on it now, but why is it not in motion? I'm going to talk to you guys about the pricing and just the economics about having your own setup. So let me go ahead and get this thing loaded up, and then we'll start talking about some of those figures.
I am off to invisible grounds. Don't know when to stop. Returning, it's not the way for me. Only a mile to go.
Such a sweet setup for loving. Look at the engineer beam, still got an arch. That's how we do it. I need to do a quick truck shuffle over here. Get some of this stuff put back in the barn. Got folks coming over. Yeah. Try to figure out how to correctly plan this video out so it makes sense without seeming like I'm gloating about any one of the such. Because having your own tow rig on the side, a lot of folks will just end up hiring it out. One, it's a lot less headache. You don't have the overhead of the insurance, the registration, maintenance on the truck, any one of the things. And I just want to emphasize the fact that it hasn't always been nice trailers here. It hasn't always been just the, you know, brand new stuff. I'm in the truck that started it all for me. But 2004, this was a factory single wheel 3500. Got it so I didn't really have to worry about looking like a DOT magnet since it wasn't a dually. And I got it, it was high miles, 296,000 miles on it. Got it from original owner, and 12,000 bucks for this truck. That's where it all started. And just worked and worked. I slowly started making a little bit of savings. Bought my first gooseneck, realized this truck wasn't going to do it. So then ended up getting a 5500, and just the learning curve of your own tow rig setup just commenced, because it wasn't as simple as just getting a truck and trailer to go to work. All that stuff I just mentioned, all the maintenance and upkeep, that's real. And it's not so much, let's say you blow out an axle seal on your trailer. It's not so much a financial burden, more so a burden of, well, we're starting to get stressed out because can we trust this trailer? So when everybody's running and gunning, you got to start to consider some of that stuff. It may not put you out for the count, but when you get home, you're working on that rig. So that's one thing a lot of guys will skip over, the idea of the maintenance. You buy a cheap trailer to save money in the beginning, you're going to be working on it every day. So I end up with one of these rigs. These things are the best. Absolutely love it. Just turnkey, ready to work trailer. Haven't touched anything on it. Knock on wood. You got so many options, upgrades to go on here. It's not even funny. But we got one more truck to move, and then we're hitting the road. Oh, and there's this gem. Arguably the most practical truck in the fleet. The one all do all. Just legend. Haven't ran this thing in a little bit. Folks will ask me all the time, would you choose 3500? You get the horsepower, lighter chassis, smaller tires, wheels, brakes, you know, or 5500. Wholeheartedly, if you are doing a little bit of both, if this is your daily driver, your one truck, I'll get a 3500 all day long. Why? Because it's a lot, not necessarily a lot more comfortable, but it's definitely comfortable compared to the 5500. But then it's not a DOT magnet. Am I gonna fit through here? Somebody didn't pull the tractor forward far enough. That would be something to rip a fender off. It's not a DOT magnet. You could run your goose on it without your numbers. If you're not hauling like for hire, but you're hauling your own equipment, you're just running around, dropping your equipment off, leaving the trailer. This truck will get you, no problem. People do it all the time, and I'm throwing them under the bus saying, hey, DOT, come after these guys. It's a proven fact. And also, if you're hauling your own equipment, you don't have to run under, make sure I fit in this building here. You don't need to knock out a big insurance policy for your factory pickup bed, 3500. So it is a lot more comfortable all around, and it is a lot cheaper all around to have one of these trucks. So if you just have one truck, I pick this one all day long. It's more than capable, and it's cheaper to run. I don't know if your fuel mileage will be better, but your insurance and your registration will be way cheaper. Let's grab a car seat so get my boy in here, probably another cup of my hot beverage, and let's hit the road. To run flatbed, you have to have those numbers, you have to have those numbers, and your name. And Boone wanted to get in the truck when I moved it earlier, so I just left the butt in there, but it's time to go now, Boone. Let's go. 45,000 pound gross vehicle tag right there. Why is that on there? And I'll show you that one right when we leave. You got mine? Let's go. Pack it to the truck. What do you think about these trailers here, buddy? Pretty good. Another aspect you got to consider is each one of these trucks, each one of the trailers, if you don't pay it outright, each one of those is a payment. And if you're not moving all the time, maybe that payment's enough to pay somebody else to move your equipment. Think about that. Aren't we going to haul the Mechalek this morning? Yeah. Okay, well, let's get the truck that's got the Mechalek hooked up to it. Okay. Let's do it. My boy and I are headed up Grandpa's house on holiday to drop off the Mechalek. Yep, it's a whole family affair right here. But I want to talk a little bit about the pricing and economics and just how realistic is it to have your own equipment. You know, because everything, just break it down on the price of just running the setup without the price of actually buying the setup. It's expensive. It's expensive, and it's getting more expensive. Fuel, right off the kick, that doubled. It seemed like, I remember this gas station I passed, this is kind of off the beaten path really that I'm on right now. But the gas station down here, when we bought our house in 2019, this was the expensive gas station, and it was $4.01 in California. That was expensive. Oh, you could go to Nevada and buy off-road and think it's cheap for $4.01 right now. It is so expensive here, it's ridiculous. And for some reason, I don't know if it's just California only, but our commercial auto insurance doubled as well. With no claims, no high mile running, nothing. The straight record is doubled. Yeah, figure that out. That's a pretty serious expense right there. And you got to drop that twice a year. I'm not going to say the number, but comment below if your commercial insurance has doubled in your state besides California. And then your registration. Now I'm going to talk about, I showed you the 45,000 pound sticker on the other truck. You could put an 80K sticker on your Toyota pickup. DMV, they'll allow it. They don't care. You're paying for the sticker, they'll take your money. Doesn't mean you're good for it by any means, stretch the imagination. My old 5500 19.5 truck used to haul a 35 or 30K trailer. So I figured, 45, we're good. And I never went over 45,000. I had plenty of tire rating and stickers to go around. We're good to go. The new truck, slightly heavier, and it has a slightly heavier trailer to go behind it. So I figure, well, I'll just bump it up to a 50K sticker just to have that little extra comfort, just in case I do end up going over that 45. Well, a 50K sticker is the same price as a 54K sticker that I have on this truck. So why not have that extra little precaution just in case you got another mulcher head or something on there. If you go over that weight sticker on a commercial truck, I don't know if the law is the same, but it used to be $1 per pound that you're over. So you're over $5,000 fine on top of whatever fix a ticket, put you out of service kind of BS they're going to hit you with until you get that mess off of there. So I'll probably never go over 50, but I'm definitely not going to go over 54. I just honestly don't think the truck's capable of realistically doing that in the hills we're running. Down in the flat ground, shoot. A lot of guys end up turning these 5500s or even Fords into pretty much a semi-truck doing that kind of mess. But all the expense and everything in, yeah, see, we're almost $6 a gallon at this station for diesel. So it hasn't doubled, but I mean, this is an expensive station, so maybe they're trying to be competitive and not be 7 like everybody else. So, how realistic and economically sound is it without truck payments? It's like when you buy a house, all the little fees that go into your mortgage payment, that's pretty much the commercial running pickups, or any commercial vehicle. You got your regular insurance, you got your regular registration, but then you also have your weight stickers and all that excise kind of stuff that goes on top of that. And that's what really gets you. So when you buy a house, even if you buy it flat out, you still have to pay property taxes for the rest of your existence on it. And that's how one of these things are. Own the truck flat out, still have all those fees and everything else so that you can be legally running for whenever you want to be legally running, I guess. But it's getting expensive. But end of the day, to be able to haul on a weekend like this, why didn't I get a green light? Why did they leave me here? Okay, makes a lot of sense. We got to wait through the whole cycle. But we're hauling on a holiday for our own personal stuff. When we're hauling to a job site, I try to incorporate the cost to haul equipment to the job at a reasonable rate that somebody else would charge, but it's so much more beneficial and efficient for me to haul it there because I am going there anyway to work. So technically, on a regular job, we need at least 2 pieces of equipment there on the first day to be functional and get stuff done. So I'll haul the first one the day before, let's say off of the last job, and then the next morning before work, leave a little early so I can haul that piece of equipment and we can set up on time and run and get it done. So it's so much more convenient to have your own setup. Is it worth all that extra cost and everything? I'd say so, because it's less phone calls, less BS, but it's not less money, I can tell you that much. It might balance out or slightly be cheaper to have somebody else haul your own stuff, but I'm hauling on a holiday, and that's nice. But we'll get up to Haas's house right now, and I'll show you his truck, where it's at, and what the plans are for it. And if I told you anything about stuff doubling in price, yep, that might be one of the reasons why it's where it is. I don't know what the speed rating is on these corners. You know, they're little recommended yellow signs. But we're doing 22. Not because the truck don't got no power. It's just these steep, sharp corners, pain in the butt. Always makes me nervous when somebody's coming down that. I'm like, don't hit the trailer with the grapple or the bucket or whatever it is. Anyway, let's cruise over here and look at Haas's truck. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, when I ordered my new truck, because California forced us to, they're like, hey, your 6708 truck's not compliant. You got to get a new truck or one that's compliant. And at the time, I couldn't find a used one that was a price that made sense. They were actually cheaper to buy a brand new one. And I made some good friends out of the way. Peterson Ram, buddy Evan up there, they hooked it up good. And I figured, let's just go ahead and get Haas the truck he's always wanted, because he's always talked about getting a red 4500. So boom, got the red 4500. I hurt the tire on one of mine, so I stole his Elko off this, put my spare on there. So we ordered his truck. The serial numbers or the VINs are real damn close. His truck is, they're both built February 22. This thing has 500 miles on it, and that is from the trip from Idaho back to home. Why is it still parked? Why isn't he running it? Why is the 01 still his primary? Well, the 01 is cheap, really. I mean, both bought and paid for. That is not a case, so it's not sitting here, truck payment eating on it. But this thing, the insurance through the roof. And we got a 54K sticker for this as well, just in case we needed to tow the mech or something with it. It's gonna have a gooseneck and everything on it. And he's got it all bundled up so you can't get any sun in there, so nothing gets all, you know, faded or whatnot. But here's the bed that he's got built. This is a pretty trick custom built bed that he's got going. Nice thick pockets, real thick. He's got those gusseted up really well. And he's got it floating right now, but the dump, not the dump cylinder, but the dump hinge, he's got that built. He milled all these out. So it's all tight tolerance, real nice stuff. And we did have it registered the first year, but I took it over to DMV the other day, got the paperwork finalized on it to non-op the truck. Yep, we parked it. It's already parked. Not getting ahead of us trying to think of like, well, we need to get this truck going because we're paying all this registration and insurance on it. Just took it off insurance, took it off registration, non-op. It's off everything now. So this thing might end up turning into a barn find. And why? Well, because commercial insurance with Haas's policy, since he's had forever, I just piggybacked on top of that with my trucks for the commercial stuff. My personal stuff's in my own policy, which is fine. But commercial is expensive to start off with. And so my dad's had his for so long. He's had his own numbers. That's where all my stuff's been on. So it was cheap to have the old 55 and his 35 on there. We added a new truck to it. It went up all right. It wasn't too much. But this year they flat out doubled the rates on it. So just to keep this truck legit legal for minimal driving that he does, just the overhead of insurance and registration is near $7,000 a year, which I could be considered cheap. But for something that is just a couple thousand, he's like, you know what? He said, welcome. He said, I'll park the truck. He said, if a bunch more people ended up doing that because of the stupid economy, screw them. I mean, it's not a cheap truck by no means, but the fact that they just double on everything like that, parking it. So we obviously got to run my truck so that we can keep business stuff going for hauling equipment. And it's a big pill to swallow, but That's why Haas's truck isn't finished, why he's not in a hurry to finish it, because if he had it done today, he'd probably still not run it because it's so expensive with all that other stuff. It's ridiculous. And by the way, my truck costs a little bit more every year to run, which sucks. How many tows I got to do just to justify those numbers? Not to mention if you had a truck payment on top of that. Think about all that. Just one thing after another. Or then you got to consider if you had a trailer payment too. All that. Add everything up, how expensive it would be just to operate this. But we can run day in, day out whenever we want. And that's just so handy. We'll see you guys in the next one. Happy Thanksgiving. See ya.